Look at that, boy. That's a nice looking.
Yeah, that's some nice brood pattern.
That is beautiful. So, you guys, how would you, when they talk, I've heard people talk about bad sections of this. What does it look like when it's bad?
It'll be very irregular, very spotty. This is fairly solid.
Yeah.
There are some empty cells. There are some empty cells here, so it's not perfectly solid pattern, but it's not bad. And a queen that's not laying well, it'll be very spotty, have a shotgun appearance.
Is that an indication that the queen is old, or?
Yes, old or failing. Or maybe not well mated. You know, maybe she didn't get well mated, like if it was raining during the time that she had to mate.
You're looking for queens right now?
Yeah, we have an order for 2 queens today.
Actually 3, Mount Helen's.
Right, 3. And so these are our mating nukes, and we're looking for the mated queens.
We want to capture her and cage her with some attendants and take them to their new home, take her to her new home.
So when you take a queen out of one of the hives, then what will happen? Will the bees they'll just make a new one?
They will. Or to save time, we may put in a grafted queen cell. Because we
actually have some virgins right now that we're going to.
What does that mean, a grafted queen?
We kind of artificially produce our own queens by a method known as grafting, which involves taking young larvae out of a cell, out of a normal brood cell, and putting her into a grafted queen cell, and that way we can raise a whole bunch of queens all at once and have them all ready at the same time.
So when you do that, will you just cut out one little tiny cell? How will you be? Can you identify where a queen is inside the?
Well, we use little plastic cell cups to graft into, and we prime it with a little bit of royal jelly, and then we, using like a almost like a knitting needle but finer, we scoop out a proper size larvae and transfer her into these plastic queen cells.
Crazy.
And then put them into a unit known as a cell builder, where the queenless bees will raise these grafted queens into ripe cells. And when they're just before they're ready to emerge, we transfer those cells into these mating nukes.
Now, when you say grafted, I mean, did you pull this out of a hive?
We did, and you'll see it opens like a trap door. The queen chews her way out. We're going to graft today, and so that's what these cell bars are about.
Cool. How many will you do?
3 bars.
Whoa!
And there's 12. I think 12 cells on each bar.
You're gonna make that many queens?
Well, they won't all take.
Right.
But we get a fairly good percentage, maybe 50 to 75%.
Fantastic.
Depending on the strength of the unit we put these into.
In here, but since we're doing so many today, if you see excess queen cells and you want to bring me royal jelly to refurbish, that might be a good idea. Little push button switch, and then so if you want that, that's there. But as soon as this is unfrozen, it's still frozen. All we really do is just put little dabs in the bottom. Let me see if I can get one that's all right.
That 29 has swarm cells. That was 6-3.
Oh, a little more than that. But
strong and young.
it's because I'm still frozen. But all we want to do is put a little dab in the bottom. Not so much that they're like super swimming in it.
Right next.
Yeah, like that's about right.
Okay.
See the young
Awesome.
brood.
They're kind of peanut shaped.
Yeah, and they really do stick out. There's no missing that.
Uh-huh.
And this is inside. This is the pupae or
The pupa.
pupa.
And this is royal jelly.
Now, the royal jelly, the female bees make that and put that in there?
Yes, the nurse bees. And the nurse bees have these tiny glands in their head, and they secrete just micro amounts of this royal jelly, which is a super rich food. The worker bees, they get fed some royal jelly like the first 3 days, but after that they get a different diet of pollen and honey. But a queen bee gets fed nothing but royal jelly.
The whole time she's alive.
Yet, well, the whole time she's in the larval stage.
And when she comes out and she's working, she gets regular
then
nectar.
Then they feed her nectar and honey and pollen.
And how do they feed? Do they go up with their mouth and feed? So kiss the queen?
Sort of, yeah. That's another
There's the royal jelly.
nice picture of a cell. Yeah, the bees trade honey back and forth with their mouth parts, like that.
I'm not scared of them now, but you could see how people be scared. They're kind of spooky looking, and the alien kind of.
Well, that's one of the things people know about bees is they sting. They're capable of stinging, so there's a certain amount of apprehension.
You're right, caution.
Eggs.
Oh, really? A lot of eggs.
Yeah, look at these.
Sometimes you have to hunt for a bit to find the right size ones.
So you kind of push the wax back,
Yeah,
you said?
yeah. Distort the little cell,
I do, but you don't have to.
push it out.
So this one verges on getting a little on the edge of the big.
Too big.
But I'll take her. She's still not in a donut.
Yeah.
So I'll take her. You got it? You want to?
This hurts my eyes.
You're telling me there's an egg there?
No, there's a larvae in the
In
jelly. In the
that?
jelly, a little comma-shaped thing.
I can't see that. You can see that?
Well, look at my double magnification going on.
Cool.
This is pretty tricky.
Kelly can see it with her bare eyes.
And this kind of hurts my eyes a little bit.
Did you see? Where's that? Oh, he's over.
People who are good at this, they just go like this. They're so fast. Pick it up, put it in. Pick it up, put it in. Pick it up, put it in.
That's quick.
That's small.
No, too small for me to see. I can't see that. Oh, the
Right.
little
Yeah.
tiny thing, that's harder to make out.
You see how we figured out like double lighting and double vision? Yes. So is there another light? Headlight. And a lot of times I'll catch them then.
There's no, this isn't honey, these are all eggs, right? So the certain sections of the hive they make just for eggs and certain for honey?
Yeah, we keep the queen down in the lower 2 boxes.
And that's where she lays the eggs.
Yeah. Too old. And this other thing's a pollen.
That's all pollen, which is food, I guess.
Huh?
What's pollen? The food is pollen? Is food?
Yeah, they feed that to the young worker bees.
That's all that grew maybe.
All three.
Now, what are you putting in there? That's a whole honeycomb.
That's the one we grafted from.
The one we took the eggs from?
Oh, and then you just put them back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at the little pink dot.
Long. So these workers will attend to her, will feed her, take care of her until she gets put into another unit. Well, they just transfer nectar from one bee to another with their.
Well, there's also
with
a
their mouth
queen
parts.
candy, we call it, plugging the hole, the cage.
Right. There's also queen candy in there, and
The
they'll eat.
worker will get that and bring it to the queen.
They'll eat that. It works as a time release mechanism. When this cage is put into a new unit, you know, the intended place for the new queen,
Right.
it takes a while for the bees to chew through the candy, a day or two.
Oh, and then
So
it'll create
that-
an opening for the bees to escape.
Yes, and then that gives the bees time to adjust to the new queen and these other workers.
Will the other bees from the outside also start eating in here?
Yes.
Aha.
No bee wants to be alone, so we'll give her some attendance. The royal court.
And then, of course, these ones are moving to a new hive. How will the other bees adapt to not the queen, but these guys? Will they say, "Okay, you can be here"?
Given time to adjust to each other, they become friendly and they all become part of the same hive. But it doesn't happen immediately, so
It wouldn't fly back to the other hive. Like if you put that queen 50 yards away, would the workers then find the old? No, because their queen is over there.
the workers could find their way back if they're of flying age, but it's unlikely the queen would find her way back, I think.
Yeah, no, they stay. They're hive people. They don't fly around, right?
They only fly under certain circumstances, like when they're taking their first mating flight, and then later on, if a hive is swarming, the hive can leave the colony in the swarm.
So, if you're working with the bees a lot, as you guys are, can you tell by the state of the hive when it's going to swarm?
There are,
Are there telltale signs like?
yes, if it's like super crowded, and there's like a big beard of bees on the entrance, and
They don't have enough room, so they're.
yes, exactly.
And when they swarm, well, the whole hive won't go. It'll just some of them.
That's right. Only about half of the bees. The older bees, the ones that are foragers and they already know how to fly. The younger bees that haven't learned to fly yet, that haven't become foragers yet, they're the ones that'll stay behind. And before the swarm leaves, the colony will make preparations to raise a new queen in the natural way, not in the grafted queen cell way that we do. There is a natural queen cell here. Two of them right next to each other.
There's one on the next frame too.
So there's likely a virgin queen in here.
It's not painted.
That's right.
You guys haven't found yet.
Just leave it alone then.
Yeah, this is not a good candidate.
Because you don't want a young virgin queen.
Right.
You leave them. You want to keep that with your hive.
Yes, we want to give her time to
settle in with her group.
take her mating flight and start laying eggs. So she's not a saleable queen.
This sounds kind of loud too.
Some of these mating nukes did not get our grafted queen cells. Some of them raised natural queen cells right on the comb in the in the traditional biological way. And I think that's what we have in this unit. You'll see. This is bee bread. That stuff in the center there. It's a mixture of pollen and honey. That's what they feed to the young growing larvae.
So this
bees.
is just getting going here.
This is a small unit we made up out of a larger, stronger colony.
Ooh, yeah.
Just for the purposes of accepting one of our mated queen cell, grafted queen cells.
That's a queen.
Okay, that's yes.
The queen cell.
Good eye.
And there's another one, right?
Yep. So this hive probably has a virgin queen that came out of this cell.
I don't see any eggs yet.
I think we can move on.
Yeah. Let's just leave it be.
So this queen has not mated, started laying eggs yet.